Okay, welcome everybody to tonight's webinar. Thank you for joining us. We have the screen. We're gonna watch the video again, Chris? All right. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Greg Zidane. I'm the camping director at Cole Canoe Base. We will be joined tonight by myself and David Couts, one of our assistant camp directors. We're also hoping that Michelle Grimble, our Dean of Merit Badges, and Linda Wallner, our business manager, will be able to join us. I know they're both having some technical difficulties, so hopefully we can get them into tonight's program. First on the list, we'll cover tonight's agenda. We are going to talk a little bit about our customer service policy and what it means to us to serve you guys as our customers. We are going to cover the payment schedule and talk a little bit about camp scholarships, health forms, other paperworky type things. And then we'll get into merit badges. We are going to cover a little bit on the independent study. I've already seen a question in the chat about that. And then just kind of a little bit of housekeeping odds and ends, and then we will open it up for questions. First off, a couple housekeeping items. If you guys haven't already figured it out, you guys are all muted. That is part of the webinar platform that we use with RingCentral. If you have questions, you will not be able to unmute yourself, but you can use the chat feature on the bottom of your screen to ask those to the panelists, and we will answer them in real time, or we might come back to some of them later in the program. We are recording this as we do all of our webinars. A recording will be made available on the michiganscouting.org website, as well as the slideshow itself. First off, we are going to kick things out and talk a little bit about customer service and what our commitment is to you. As you've seen in the past, our commitment as a camp staff is to run a safe, quality, and fun-filled program. We are dedicated to providing our customers and guests with a legendary scout camp experience. While participating in our life-changing year-round camp programs, we are committed to provide facilities, programs, service, and leadership that will consistently exceed the expectations of our customers. Next slide, Chris. With our legendary camp service program, we plan on focusing on various items throughout the course of the summer and throughout our planning. We are going to strive to provide innovative programs that meet all of your scouts' needs with qualified, trained, and well-talented staff. We are going to be working diligently to implement high-quality food service programs. With the patrol cooking operation at camp, can't say much about the quality of the food because you guys are cooking it yourselves, but we are working with our vendors already to make sure that we've got the right food to cover all of your dietary needs, make sure that we can work around all of the problems in the supply chain right now. We're already working hard on that. As we continue to upgrade and refresh our facilities, we are working to get camp ready and cleaned up and ready for the summer. Lastly, we plan on engaging you and your leaders in our process. We strive for your feedback. We look forward to hearing what you guys have to say so that we can make this a better program for all. Was Linda able to join us yet? I don't see her in the thing. So
she hasn't joined us, no.
Do you want to talk about the payment schedule, David, or you want me to?
Sure. So our camp payment schedule, we're now obviously approaching the second payment due date on March 21st. And then there are two more subsequent ones, third payments due on April 1st, and then the final payment on May 1st. Next slide, please. So when making your payments, obviously go to that registration page, which is the same page you would have visited when making your initial reservation for your week of camp. Near the top of the page on the top right corner, it says look up registration, and just have your registration number that's available on your initial email you received when making your reservation. Can either do an e-check with the routing number or credit card but there is a 2.75% convenience fee with every transaction that's not refundable. Next slide, please. For existing reservations, there's an additional $50 payment that's now due for each youth participant. A camp fee for new reservations at this time will be equal to $100 per youth participant slot, or $50 per adult participant slot. And slot just means for some units that have had an estimated number of youth that they have coming, they just put down like Scout 1, Scout 2, and so each one of those slots you're reserving will require this additional $50 payment. If you missed your first payment due February 1st, obviously $100 is now due for youth, and failure to meet the March 1st payment could result in loss of your reservation. Just please, if you're having any difficulty making those payments by the 1st of the month due date, just reach out to Greg so we know what's going on and can make a plan going forward. And I believe that covers the payment schedule. So back to you, Greg.
Thank you very much, David. There's a question in the chat about the Camp Scholarship Program. We are actually going to be addressing that next. So we do have scholarships available, or camperships as they used to be called. To be eligible, the following guidelines are required for a youth applicant. First, you need to be a registered member within the Michigan Crossroads Council. So unfortunately, we've gotten questions over the past. Camperships and scholarships are not available for out-of-council units. And you have to be registered to attend any of our Michigan Crossroads Council resident camps. There is a separate application required to fill out for a scholarship that can be found on michiganscouting.org. We're in the application window right now. The first line of applications is due no later than May 1st, or May 30th, sorry. After April 1st, we will be reviewing those scholarships and making those awards of various scholarships. So to answer the question, after April 1st is when those will be decided upon. There will be an additional window after that for additional funding that'll become available. We will notify families of the scholarships at that time. There is a note on here that we have various discounts available, such as the sibling discount. You cannot apply for both, so it's kind of a one or the other situation. But we do have scholarships available if you or your scouts need them. And they are, I believe, up to 50% of the cost of camp is what could potentially be awarded if need be. We're going to talk a little bit about health forms next. Right at the top of the slide there, we have a note effective January 1st, 2010. So we are quite a ways into this now. The only health forms that we accept are the BSA annual medical form. This is the Part A, B, and C form that is available online. You can just Google up BSA health form. It does require to be signed by a physician. We are requiring health forms now for everybody in camp, regardless of how long they're going to be there. So if you have a parent who's coming up for 2 days, we are still going to need their health form. That is not entirely new, but it's a little bit different from the way it used to be done in the past. And then again, it does have to be on the BSA health form, on the specific form. All right. Oh, and health forms are good for 12 months after they're due, or after they're done. So you would have needed a health form within the last 12 months. Next slide, we're going to be talking about merit badges and merit badge sign up. David, do you want to take this one?
Sure. Next slide, please.
How to add classes to your schedule. To select classes for a single attendee, find their name and click on Update Information. Find the schedule field on the form and click on Select Classes. Use the drop-down menus to see classes from a single catalog or period. You can also search for classes. You can view all classes to see additional information from the catalog. This includes the period and days of the week it is offered, the number of spots available if there is a limit, additional fees for the class, any additional periods it is offered, as well as any minimum age or rank requirements. Click on an available class and it will move to the attendee schedule on the left. As you add classes to your schedule, conflicting classes will disappear from the available classes on the right. Depending on the event, you may be able to add a bundle of classes. If you select a bundle, all classes in the bundle will be added to your schedule. If classes in your schedule conflict with classes in the bundle, then they may not be added to your schedule. To remove a class from your schedule, click on the class and it will return to the available classes on the right. Other classes offered during that period will become available again. Once you have finished selecting classes for that attendee, you can view their class schedule. You can print the attendee class schedule, and if you have selected merit badges, you can print blue cards as well. To see all attendee schedules, go to Additional Actions and select Manage Participant Classes. To make adjustments to their schedule, select the attendee. Once you have made your adjustments, click on Show Class Schedule to return to the previous screen. If merit badge classes are offered, you will find the blue card icon next to each attendee. As long as the attendee has been booked, they will immediately hold a spot in the class. If they have not been booked, you will need to complete checkout for that attendee. Depending on the event, you may be able to access reports. The reports may vary as they are managed by the council, but you may be able to find schedules and other helpful reports here.
Okay, I believe we're ready for the next slide, Chris. And on the display, I'm still seeing the frozen screen from the video. Awesome. So now that process, in case it wasn't mentioned on the video, and this slide is just pretty much an abridged version of all that information from the video, is the same whether it's being done by the summer camp contact who's been taking care of all the payments and input into the system, or if your troop has decided to use the parent portal. Our merit badge registration will become available Monday, March 21st, starting at 8 a.m. So once you're logged into the Black Pug reservation system, select the participant that you want to sign classes up for, and then right below their name, it's about the bottom left-hand side of the screen, there'll be a button that says Update Information. The system will not let you sign up a scout for classes if they have not yet paid $100 or the required information is not entered for the participant. And that required information might be information like food allergies or some vital backup contact information. On the class schedule, that will be shown at the bottom of their profile. Click on Select Classes and click on the class that you want the participant to sign up for. The system will not allow you to sign up for a class that is already full. There are some badges that we have limited equipment for, or that a very large class size would hinder our ability to properly instruct the badge, that we will be having class size restrictions for. And the system will not allow you to sign up for a class that would be double book the participant. There are some classes we have, like the shooting sports classes are generally 2-hour blocks. So if you sign up for a 9 a.m. Archery class, you won't also be able to sign up for a 10 a.m. Ecocon class, because archery is going to run from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. Okay, next slide, please. So independent study merit badges that I'm sure a lot of you are wondering about. This is one of the unique features of Cold Canoe Base, and it enables us to offer over 100 merit badges to your scouts. Now, for those of you who have camped with us before, this is pretty much just a new term for the by appointment merit badges. And essentially how it works is if a scout wishes to enroll in one of our independent study merit badges, they should first carefully read through the current merit badge requirements and the CCB prerequisite list. The current merit badge requirements are always going to be on scouting.org/advancement, and the CCB prerequisite list are going to be available on the registration page. In the bottom right-hand corner, there's a list of different attachments that include the merit badge schedule and the prereq list. By the way, that prereq list is probably going to be updated with the 2022 most recent merit badge requirements. I normally would have them already updated for this year's requirements by now, but National has not yet released the 2022 merit badge update. So as soon as National BSA releases that those updated requirements, I will have the prerequisite list ordered. But normally there's no more than 10 merit badges that have slight alterations per year. So for the most part, all the merit badges that are listed on that prerequisite list will be accurate for this summer. Going back to the slide, parents or adult leaders should, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't complete with the prior slide, Chris. Thank you. Parents or adult leaders should provide guidance on which badges a scout is best positioned to work on at camp, especially with more challenging independent merit badges. The scout should come to camp prepared with complete projects or be ready to discuss and demonstrate an ability and understanding of concepts. And follow each requirement as it's written in the current merit badge requirement list. Next slide, please. Sunday night at camp, immediately after camp-wide flag ceremony, the program expo will be held at the Dumas Pavilion. During the expo, scouts will have an opportunity to meet up with staff and arrange a time to discuss their independent study badges with the appropriate merit badge counselor. The independent study merit badge process will be discussed in greater detail during informational webinars. Sorry, I just copied that right out of the leader's guide. But to provide a little bit more context, either during the program expo on Sunday night of your first day of camp, or even when your troop is walking around to the different program areas during the camp tour with your staff host, you'll have an opportunity to meet with counselors and figure out a time, generally in the evening after program concludes around 3:30 or before dinner time, for a scout to come and meet with merit badge counselor, go through the requirements that they have worked on either before camp or in their campsite. The counselor will judge if they have a really good handle on their requirements, or if there's some requirements that still need more research done, or anything that they can help coach them with to really show that they have a knowledge for the merit badge and are deserving of earning that badge. And then by the end of the week, we will do everything we can to make sure that your scout goes home with a signed blue card having completed the badge. These independent merit badges include motorboating, rowing, water sports, all at aquatics, family life, American cultures, collections, pets, reading. Those are all located at Main Street USA, which is a program area in the Dumas Pavilion. Nuclear science, chemistry, radio over at Cosgrove Production Company. Energy, mining and society, oceanography, sustainability, all in EcoCon. Healthcare professions, public health, safety, which are generally based out of our health lodge and will be led by either our health officer or the instructor assistant at the health lodge. And then over at our skilled trade center, metalworking, plumbing, woodworking, and much more. Next slide, please. So when it comes to planning for camp, these are just a few bullet points to set you on the right direction as a unit leader, making sure that you're communicating with the rest of your troop and getting everyone on the same page. So now that we're in the month of February, want to make sure that your key adult leadership in your unit that's coming to camp all have the leader guide available to them so that they can review all the camp policies, be familiar with what to expect during the week, and that your senior patrol leader has a copy of the camp program. By next month's webinar, we plan to have the camp schedule of events released so that you'll see a daily breakdown of what time all our events are happening, especially our very popular evening programs that involve, Beast Feast and Crafts on Fire, what time the camp-wide fire is going to happen, game night, night sip, all those really popular events. Your senior patrol leader will start being able to plan out what to direct the troop towards and get everyone excited for. You'll want to make sure that everyone in your troop has the list of merit badge offerings and prerequisites. Again, that's available on the Black Pug registration page. And then collect the $50 per youth camper so that everyone will be paid $100 in total by March 1st. And also, it's a great time to start distributing health forms and DHS clearance forms. Health forms are really important because we all know with the state of world affairs that health systems are kind of backed up right now. So getting appointments with your medical providers as quickly as possible so that everything's taken care of before summer camp is really important. And then with the DHS clearance forms, getting those in as soon as possible instead of waiting until they really get jammed with paperwork in May and early June is also important to be on top of. Next slide, please. So next month, when we get into March, you'll obviously want to collect merit badge selections from your scouts. Again, the online registration opens on March 21st at 8 a.m. You'll also be collecting $125 per youth per camper, totaling $225 in total fee. Submit your camp scholarships, camperships by April 1st, as Greg was talking about before, and then hold a final parents meeting, go over summer camp plans and answer any questions. And there's a recommended gear list available on page 19 of the Leader's Guide, especially if you have first-year campers or parents that might be new to sending their youth to summer camp. That's a really great resource to help them plan for packing. Next slide, please. Okay, so in the April month, you'll want to start collecting copies of each participant's BSA health forms. Once you turn the health forms into the health officer, which we need original copies of, we cannot return those original copies to you. That is a rule by the state of Michigan, unfortunately. We as a camp need to keep those on file. You'll also be collecting $125 per youth, excuse me, which will total up to $350 per youth, and then collecting $110 from each adult, so that will cover the $160 adult fee. For part-time adults, the fee is going to be $33 per day that you'll need to have collected before May 1st. And with all that done, you'll have your final payment on time for May 1st. Next slide, please. Continuing into month of May. So you'll want to confirm your transportation arrangements from camp. Make sure that any adult drivers you have volunteering are available, know the pickup location and time, and just have all the logistics of that figured out. Make sure everyone has the correct address for camp and is familiar with the procedures for parking in the parking lot and where to find your campsite and everything. Collect youth protection training for all adults and proof of BSA membership and DHS clearance letters for all adults attending camp. That is a must when you are arriving at camp. We will be expecting that to be provided. Secure copies of the council's accident insurance form if you are an out of council unit. Those forms are available at Michigan Scouting, .org/outdoor adventures/forms. That website is a great resource for any forms you're really looking for. It includes the DHS clearance and pretty much any, also attendance forms and anything you should really need before arriving at camp, even medical forms. Next slide, please. Okay, so then when it gets to June and you're 2 weeks away from coming to camp, first you'll want to make or confirm all your final transportation arrangements, then inventory all unit equipment, get your trailers all situated and ready to go for the few-hour drive up to camp. Set up and inspect your tents. Worst thing that could happen to you guys is it's a rainy week of camp and it turns out you've got some leaky tents, and that's just ruins your camping experience when you got wet clothes for the week. All required paperwork is organized and ready for transport. Something that I've been asked a few times by new units is when organizing their paperwork, they have some camp experiences where camps want all the forms grouped together by scout's last name versus all the forms together. When you arrive at camp and do the camp tour and go see the health officer is going to want to have all your health forms together, preferably listed alphabetically by last name. Please do not sort a scout's individual health form and then their merit badge schedule and then their medication list or all that kind of stuff together, because then when you see the health officer, you're going to have to one by one pull out the health forms and give it to the health officer. Everything will work a lot better if you group the health forms all in one pile. Also, if you have any scouts with special dietary needs, it is a great idea to call the camp to make sure that we have that information. It is already required when you're signing the scout up on Black Pug to fill out if they have any special dietary needs, but just to make sure there isn't any questions or we fully understood what you put on Black Pug, it's a good idea to just give us a call about 2 weeks out to confirm we have everything set for your special dietary needs. And then check that the scouts have a plan to present their prerequisites to the merit badge counselors at camp. Obviously, I got some young scouts, so around 12 years old if it's their first time at camp, and providing them a little bit of guidance to make sure that they're ready for their merit badges is always really helpful and helps set them up for success. Next slide, please. So when you're 1 week away from coming to camp, confirm all paperwork is in your possession and DHS clearance letters, a proof of BSA membership and youth protection training, all that, have that in tidy order. Unit trailer is packed with all the equipment. Camp roster is reviewed and updated, and unit/camp reports are printed from your registration, including class schedules and for each individual scout. And then your adult leaders, it'll be, there's a different report that will have all your scouts names listed and which merit badges are supposed to be at which time. That's really helpful for you guys to make sure that your scouts are where they're supposed to be during the day and to track their progress on if they're completing or if they're attending their classes. Next slide, please.
I believe that that brings us to talking about future webinars. That kind of wraps up tonight's agenda. I did want to make a quick note. Thanks for covering all that, David. Michelle is our Dean of Merit Badges, couldn't join us tonight, but she did want to cover this. In years past, if we've had to make changes to a Scout's merit badge schedule when they get to camp, we have done that at the Sunday Night Program Expo. We are still going to be doing that and offering that at the Program Expo, but we are asking Scouts and leaders to be prepared to maybe address some of that on the camp tour earlier in the day. We're trying it out. We think it's going to kind of help things run a little bit smoother. So If you can't knock it out during the tour, we're more than happy to help you at the Program Expo. But when you go on that tour, be prepared to make any merit badge changes that you might need to do. We do have a number of additional webinars coming up in the not too distant future. If you haven't figured it out, our webinars are the third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. So that gives us March 17th as our next webinar, April 21st, and then our final webinar before camp will be on May 19th. We are starting to get close. So at this point, we are opening it up to questions and answers. Please feel free to use the chat feature and throw those out our way. There's a question asking about DHS forms required for all parents, whether they're there for a couple hours or the whole day. The technicalities in that having to do with the licensing and stuff basically say that if a leader doesn't have the clearance, they have to be escorted the entire time that they're there. So what we would say is if your parents are coming for more than a simple drop off or pickup or check in, basically if they're going to be there more than, several minutes, we would recommend that they have that clearance form because it will make things go a lot smoother. And as David mentioned before, that form is available online. It can all be done virtually now. And we recommend you start that process sooner rather than later, just because of the inevitable delays with the state licensing department. Dawn's asking about where to find maps of camp and where things happen. You should be able to find those in the Leader's Guide or on michiganscouting.org. They should also be available on the registration page. I believe we have those there. If not,
I have not linked them up yet, but I will do that tonight.
Okay, thank you, David. And as always, you can always feel free to reach out to one of us directly and we can email you PDFs of the various maps and things that we have available. We do have a host of high adventure opportunities available. We are probably going to be going into those a little bit deeper in next month's webinar, but as in the past, we've got trekking and extended canoeing and backpacking opportunities ranging from an hour and a half would be our shortest river trip, ranging all the way up to 5 days and 100 miles, and everything in between, as well as backpacking at Pictured Rocks and Grand Island. You can email the DHS forms directly to us if you would like, but it's probably easier if you just bring them with you when you get to camp. If you would like to email them, you can email them either to myself or Linda.
I'm here finally.
Oh, thank you, Linda. Happy you could join us. Hey, Linda, do you prefer that they email you the DHS forms or do you want them to bring them to camp?
Either way, if they email them, I can get them on the log before they even come, but.
Cool.
So whichever way for them, whatever works for them works for me.
Great, thanks, Linda. Jeremy's asking about a scout from another troop joining their unit for the week. You can either add them to your reservation directly, but the best way to do that is actually to sign them up as a provisional scout. You can do on the reservation program. And then in the comment section there on the registration, just say that you want them to camp with your troop. Any river programs, if it's a one-day canoe trip, we ask that you sign up for those at camp, either during the tour on Sunday or at the Sunday night program expo. If you're doing an overnight trip on the river, we ask that you sign up for that in advance. The best way to do that is by emailing either myself or Jason Wilburn, who is our river program director, and we will get those emails into the chat. Yes, today we are not planning to do pods again. That was something that the state required us to do, having to do with COVID. We are not anticipating they're going to make us do it again. So we are back to everybody having their own merit badge schedule. Thank you very much. I believe the program schedule of events is in the leader's guide, or at least a draft version of it is. I know we're still finalizing some of the particulars, but if you'd like to email me, we can send you what we've got as a draft. If not, that should be posted on the registration page pretty soon.
Yeah, there's some coordination that I'm planning to do with our area managers once we have them all on board to finalize the schedule. So it is not yet in the leader's guide, or it was not in the published leader's guide, but as soon as it's finalized, it will be posted on the registration page, and we'll be communicating it to all of the Black Pug contacts for your registration, so they get it right away.
Thank you, David. Friday night, we are going to be allowing parents to come back into camp again for the Friday night closing campfire and festivities. We do have a question here about dietary restrictions. Gluten-free and vegetarian are two things that we see quite commonly. Halal is the specific question here. And I know we have had scouts with that dietary need in the past, and I'm sorry to say I'm not 100% sure how we addressed that. If you can send me an email with that question, John, I will get you in touch with somebody who can answer it better than myself. I'm good at a lot of things. Food service really isn't one of them, unfortunately. We are not. One is asking about the added cost of early arrival. We do not charge an additional fee for Saturday arrival. It is free. We don't offer very much during that time though, so there's no food service, no meals, anything until Sunday evening. So you'd be on your own to figure out breakfast, lunch, and dinner, not necessarily in that order. We are going to ask that you indicate ahead of time if you're going to be coming in on Saturday, and you'll be able to do that in the registration system when you go to make your final payment. It'll ask you the question. At time, Adam, Brad, I would say we are probably still looking at one scout per tent, kind of waiting to get the guidance on that going forward. But at least for now, I would plan on one scout per tent. Sarah, I actually did respond to your email right before this webinar started, but for ATV programs, there's some confusion out there about minimum age 14 or 16. Previously, it was always 16, and then we signed into a new deal with Polaris that allows us to offer ATV training for scouts as young as 14. However, some of our more experienced rider programs and our advanced ATV treks are still going to be 16. So if you have scouts who are 14 and up and want to do the ATV training program, we're more than happy to help them. Bart, I'm not going to remember, but if you remind us when you get to camp, I'm sure someone will want to stop by and hang out with you guys. All right. I'm not seeing too many more questions. Is there anything we missed? Feel free to throw them into the chat right now.
Greg,
Hi, Linda.
did you bring up about the parents coming in on Friday that they still have to have a DHS form? And if they spend the night, they do have to have A, B, and C health forms.
Thank you for clarifying, Linda. We kind of alluded to it, but I don't know that we actually came out and said it. So,
Oh, well, I
for
did.
clearing that up.
Greg, there was a question from earlier on about what supplies to expect in campsites, if you'd like to cover that.
Sure. Most of our campsites come with a latrine, a fire pit, and an axe yard. We do have pavilions and electricity available in some sites. Toilet paper is included with the latrines. And there's a set of kind of basic tools with the latrine, a shovel and a broom, basically. Additionally to that, there's a couple wheeled carts in each campsite to help with getting food from the commissary or gear or garbage or whatever it is that you have. If there's anything specific that you're looking for, let us know. We do have a quartermaster supply that is quite expansive. So if you need something for your week at Cole, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and if we can get it to you, we'll get it to you. There might be a little bit of a nominal fee depending on what it is, but customer service is what we're all about, so we're happy to help you.
Then the next question was on OA call out. When and how? I know to schedule a OA election, they would need to talk with Matt Grimble, our essentially OA chief, and is call out still on Friday and Brotherhood ceremonies Thursday night?
I believe that is still how Matt's planning on working it this year. I don't want to misspeak too far on it, but in the past it's been Thursday and Friday respectively, and I believe that's the plan. If you'd like more information on our OA programs, reach out to me and I'll get you in touch with Matt Grimble, our camp OA guy.
And in the next 2 months, we'll have area director, Matt Grimble's also our aquatics director, where we'll be having some of our area directors joining us and presenting a little bit more detailed information on each of their programs and the special events that happen in their programs. And I'm sure Matt will look forward to talking about the OA opportunities during his month, probably in April. Finally, there was a question on when we anticipate releasing the menu. Generally, we will have that ready in April. As Greg mentioned before, there is some coordination and planning that has to happen with our provider GFS to make sure we have all the supply chain and order logistics in order.
Thank you, David. There are a couple questions that just came in about food delivery or pickup with the commissary. We're kind of looking at a hybrid model right now. We're still hashing out the details, but if you were around camp last year, you probably remember that we were delivering food directly to the campsites rather than having scouts come up to the commissary and get it like they had in the past. And what we found was that some troops really liked it and other troops did not like it so much. And you could generally tell which troop was on which side of that based off of where they were camping. So we are kind of looking at making it an option this year. If you would like to have us deliver the food to your campsite, we will do that for you. There might be a nominal fee. We're still working out the details, but we are allowing troops and scouts to come directly up to the commissary and get their food like we have traditionally as well.
Question on which sites have electricity. That is listed on the most recent version of the base camp map that shows in detail everything on the east side of the river. If that's not yet on the registration page, I will make sure it's on there tonight. And I'll also, since we've been listing the registration page so many times this evening, I'll post a link to that for everyone in a few seconds.
Great. Any more questions that we did not get to? If you would like to change campsites, we're more than happy to help you with that. Depending on weeks and various things, we might have some limitations, but if you reach out to Linda, Linda Wallner is generally the best person to work with that. We're happy to help. I'm not seeing too many more questions roll in. I will hang out for a few minutes in case anybody's there, but thank you all for joining us tonight, and stay warm, stay safe if you've got to drive out in the elements tonight, and enjoy the rest of your week, and look forward to seeing you guys at camp this summer. Have a great night.